Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. So, I was told, for my own sanity, click this. Uh, I had thought, well, I guess, yeah, it was me in misinterpreting what people said. I had thought that, that turning this on would remove scenes from the game. It does not. So, yeah, we'll be doing that. Now I don't have to sit there for 2 hours waiting for a video to render after I've had to edit Yu-Gi-Oh cards over penises. The Minotaur Dreams. Before Athens and Sparta, there was Crete, where Zeus was born and raised. Wild goats left their cloven marks on its slopes, carved out of. I'm sorry, guys. I took allergy medication right before this. I am, not in the best reading state, but I think that's better. Maybe it'll be more entertaining. You tell me. Carved out of the cooled magma from the age of the Titans, its soil rich and hard before the promise of prosperity. Crete was a cradle, safe and fertile for early mankind. It was for Zeus, first of the Olympians. His son, Minos the First, made his way there and became its founder and king. When death came for him, Minos was made judge of the death. The lineage was born many kings of Crete, the prosperous cradle of man. There was another who carried the name of Minos, a man who made a pact with Poseidon, god of the sea. From the foamy waters, the Olympian sent a white bull to signal his favor, and in turn, the man promised the sacrifice. But Minos took for himself what was meant for the gods. For his hubris, Poseidon cursed his household. His wife, Pasiphae. No, that's a different woman. Pasiphae. Yup. Was just struck with lust for the beast and ordered the legacy craftsman, Daedalus, to craft a hollow heifer? Yep, that name. Took the bull's lurch and became pregnant with its child. So was born the Minotaur. Her infant survived. Her infamy? That's not that word. Survived. Crete fell in favor of Athens, which in turn was dragged away by Rome, which too was consumed by time, and her disgrace remains, such like the tale of the cannibal half-breed she birthed survives. For the Minotaur, she was mom, and she called him Asteron. Okay, I don't even know how this is supposed to actually pronounce. I thought Asteron was the correct way, but I was told that I'm saying ass too much, so is it as? It's Asteron, right? Asterion, right? Oh, guys, it's something. Her starry-eyed son. He drank from her breast like a little boy, like any boy, but he played with the siblings even if his visage betrayed the sin which begat him. The Minotaur dreams of the vast field of white asphodel flowers where he'd go with his sister. Ariadne, that's it. Holding holding her fingers where they had sat by a tree, and he had napped with his head on her thigh. Asterion dreams of Crete, the place of Knossos? Knossos. Okay, where he was raised, and of his inescapable fate, the labyrinth crafted by Daedalus, where he met his end. Before the first the hairs of the bread would have sprouted, where he fully human, he was off to the shore of the labyrinth, off to the stone labyrinth, deep within one of Kree's valleys. The exit was blocked off, and he was left only with an axe he could barely raise. A decade passed before a visitor came. Asterion could no longer think. Language had escaped his mind altogether. So lonely had he become. His visitor, Theseus, had crossed the sea for the Minotaur's head. The hero expected a battle, but found only a beast driven by mercy. A beast deserving of mercy. Asterion did not reject the hero's pity. At last, the dream of the Asphodel Meadows, it's a mercy. It's the end of his suffering, but he awakes it to the labyrinth again. He jumps from dream to reflection. Master Jean and Clement, the cold room, the new master, freedom from darkness, food and wine. Asterion grasps the dusty sheets. It's been decades since he slept on a bed. He feels no bed sores on his back. Instead of the cold room's stench, there is only the slightly moldy smell of his old room. His lips, half bull, half skeletal, threatening to curl into a smile, but doubt eats away at him, churns in his stomach. The Minotaur unceremoniously raises and opens his closet. No matter what comes next for his work and then work some more. While he checks his garments, he mumbles an old poem from memory. You came, and you did well to come. I longed for you, and you brought fire to my heart, which burns high for you. Oh, look how... Oh, that's kind of cute. These old clothes don't fit him. The mirror makes it clear how much of a disgrace he is. The gaping, fleshless hole in his skull makes his innards bulge. Ichor? Bubble, and threaten to burst from his mouth. But he's less of a disgrace than he was the day before, and for the last 80 years, there is some mercy in that. He forces a half smile and goes on. As soon as he steps out, however, his ear flicks. He catches a distant tone chirping. One could say even joyous. It is faint but unmistakable. The smile disappears from his face. The foreman. Dust diamonds float across the room, suspended in time, merciless daylight piercing the window. Your mouth is dry, your eyes red. The room is humid and growing hotter under the desert sun. Just outside, you hear the clopping of hooves, very faint but noticeable, as if a certain Minotaur was trying and failing to be quiet. Your phone, now about to run out of battery, says it's 6 a.m. You get ready and go out to face the day. Good morning, Master. I hope you slept well. Asterion, what are those clothes you are wearing? It's what I used to wear. They were They may be a tad big right now, but that won't last. I'll be back to my old shape before you know it. I thought it would be inappropriate enough to have spent a whole day naked in your presence. So this morning I set out to clothe myself. Do you like them? You look great. Absolutely, you look great. There's more, that's some real style there, right there. Ah, you are very kind. Shortly after, Asterion summons a simple breakfast for you, bread, cheese, and fruit. It is all he can offer now, seeing as the kitchen still doesn't have working equipment. You take a seat, while Asterion stands still with his back to the wall, looking at you. So, what do you have to do today? Any chores? Oh, what do you have to do today? Any chores? I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'm absent-minded at the wheel. Wah! I don't even know, guys. I don't even know. There is one, but it is not something Master ought to be not to worry about. The trinket I mentioned last night, the one with which can light a pure flame. If Master so wishes, I can search for it, and then we shall be able to restore the hotel. But I can help. It's no trouble. It's not like I have anything else to do while you are busy. I obey the Master's will. Silence hangs around you. The air is heavy as Asterion directs his gaze at you and the food on the table. This meal of fruit, cheese, and bread is simple. One could say it is bland and boring, but the Minotaur looks at it with a fervor befitting of how thin he is. Saliva drips from his half-exposed jaw. He does not notice at the first drops fall. He does not notice as the first drops fall to the floor, but once it starts seeping onto his chin's fur, he slaps his own cheek to cover the wound. His eyes go wide as he realizes what just happened. Asterion looks to you, frightful of your reaction. It is a sorry sight. His gaze conveys a sense of dread. It would seem he fully expects you to be angry at him, at his appalling behavior. You seem hungry, Asterion, okay. Aren't you going to eat? I don't mind sharing a meal with you. It is improper for the servant to eat with the Lord. Lord need not worry about me. I'll feed after you are done. Is that how the previous master treated you? Yes, that has been our custom ever since. For many centuries, shall we say. Master Jean in particular was strict with it. He appreciated order and hierarchy. In truth, he would have been appalled had he seen my behavior yesterday, walking around naked, depending on the master for assistance. He was kind but strict, and at times he would punish my insubordination quite harshly. After all, how else was I supposed to know what I did wrong? But even then, he was along the kinder masters. Is that really necessary? Couldn't he just talk with you? He believed otherwise. Nevertheless, he had no qualms with treating me well when I exceeded his expectations. The Minotaur shifts on his hooves and looks down, his eyes growing duller. He would pet me at times, scratching my chin and behind my ears. He could be affectionate. I enjoyed my time with him, I did. He was a fine master for the hotel. It flourished under his rule. That is what matters. I am happy as long as the hotel is doing well, fulfilling its purpose and providing respite to those in need. It is as I said, being locked away did not hurt nearly as much as seeing the people abandoned. Whether the master treats me well or not, ultimately it does not matter. I was sentenced to eternal suffering, and to merely exist as I do now is better than I could have ever hoped for. So, I liked Master Jean. He was a good man. It is not my place to comment upon the master's actions. Master Jean would have been furious had he heard this conversation. I suppose I have been awfully chatty today, have I not? Had I not? I am sorry for troubling the master. You are not bothering me. I want to know more about you, and well, you are fine company. I wish you'd sit and share a meal with me, but since that's not something you are willing to do, I enjoy hearing you talk. It is not my place to comment upon your actions, my lord, but with your permission. You nod to the Minotaur. Astron says nothing more. After you are done with your meal, the Minotaur retreats to the kitchen to wash the dishes. Only afterwards does he eat. He sits on the floor, cross-legged, and eats the remains of the food he summoned for you. Even though the kitchen is nothing like a cold stone cell in which you met. The air of despondency which surrounds Asterion is so infectious that it almost appears the same. You watch him take his meal of bread and cheese, slowly, painstakingly, as though the very sensation of eating was somehow foreign to him after innumerable decades left to starve. Since he has only a face, you can see a cross-section of every motion as he bites and chews and swallows his meager meal, trying his best to find an angle which affords him the dignity of not exposing himself any further. Caught as he is between the shame of meeting your eyes, the impropriety of turning to avoid you, and the embarrassment of letting you see inside his mouth as he eats, he struggles briefly before reassigning himself to the latter option. Unsure how to further rouse him from his melancholy, you simply allow yourself to share that silence, awkward though it may be. For several minutes, the only sound that can be heard is your own breathing, as well as the occasional splat when the Minotaur misjudges how much room he has to work with, and some half-chewed food falls out through the skeletal side of his maw. However, shortly after, Asteron chokes down the last morsel of cheese. A sudden sound snaps with both from the shared isolation. You can hear a flute playing from the outside apartment, piping away at a briskly chipper tune. Sorry, I'm gonna blow my nose real quick. Sorry. Asteron's ears flick. He looked at you, noticing you heard it too, and freezes. Paleness creeps upon his face. Drops of sweat fall from his brow, as bits of saliva leak from the half-destroyed mouth. What's that? The Minotaur starts shaking. Please, don't send me out to the hall. I beg of you. I'm sorry for not mentioning it earlier. I was going to, but I was so afraid. The torturer is down in the valley and will try to bring me out. Please don't send me out. It takes a while to calm the Minotaur, but eventually he takes you to the source of the hauntingly chipper song. All the way to the spiral staircase, to the very depths of the hotel. Asteron follows closely behind you, even if, in theory, he should be the one guiding you. The song grows louder as you go down. It carries upon by the draft coming all the way from below. The bottom floor is bare rock, a vaguely circular gallery with a single exit leading out to the valley. So far, the entire hotel, even if dilapidated, has only given you the impression it was lovingly built. It is not the case for this area at the lowest point. It was particularly carved out of the rock. It was practically precariously carved out of the rock and left behind with an active distaste and carelessness. The sunlight pouring from outside is harsh to your eyes, accustomed as they are to the darkness of the spiral staircase. In contrast, the song has a jolly touch to it, and it continues to throw Astron into a nearly panicked state. He is there, the foreman of the labyrinth. He is called Argos. He'll haunt me if I go out. But he can't harm the master. The valley is laid out before you, painted in broad strokes of vivid orange, balanced out with blue and golden hues in the sky. It is arid, but there is vegetation here. It is actually a soothing scenery compared to the thoroughly lifeless desert around the hotel. The wind even has a tinge of an early morning humidity. It would be no surprise finding some dew lingering in the brush. It is quite peculiar. The valley seemed devoid of life when you look down at it from the hotel lookout, but up close it is quite different. Just ahead are 2 rows of marble statues, each one standing 4 or 5 meters tall, and a single statue of a woman pointing to her the sword in her hand at the hotel's entrance. The song comes from the statue. The look on Astron, you can barely make out the blue flame in the cavern's darkness. Yeah, okay. Argos, praise the Olympians. The bones showed the truth. A new master is indeed upon us. A gray hand grasps the statue's shoulder, and then a serpentine shape, emerges and coils around the woman's neck. Oh, okay. Lad, I like it. The wait has been long. I kind of gave them both the same voice there, didn't I? The wait has been long, my good lord. But how I have anticipated this day, when a human would once again rise to fulfill the mission bestowed by Athena. I have spent decades lying here in the valley, as interesting as a dung heap, ever since Master Clement left his realm all by my lonesome. It is as the epic said, servants never do their work when their master's hand is no longer over them. For Zeus takes half the gods out of man when he makes a slave of a man. Without a master, the Minotaur has failed his duty. The mighty hotel is in disrepair, and the valley's entrance have outright vanished. There's no work to do if a master's not around, you see. Only I remain, waiting. But that shall change soon enough. I feel the earth stirring beneath the statue. Before you know it, the old kin of the gods will be among us once more. Now, my good master, do you know your most faithful follower's name? Has the Minotaur informed you of my prodigy? Master has not offered me a greeting, nor a word of aspiration. So I can only assume the bull neglects his duties again. You're about to speak up when he interrupts you and continues his speech. Your face says it all. Very well, allow me to introduce myself. I am Argos, Panoptes, watcher of the Heifer, whatever, worshipper of the Olympians. My pedigree is unmatched. I was born from the labyrinth itself, and there is no beast capable of evading my tracks. Nor any relic, for that matter. The snake holds a metallic object under his arm, a set of bronze mirrors. Oh my, master, my eyes are up here. Your gaze shall have me believe my form has caught your attention. Truly, I am a fine specimen, am I not? Or perhaps you are interested in this fine trinket I scavenged. It is a relic from ancient times. It focuses the sun's light into a single beam, generating a pure flame fitting for an offering. It is called the Mirrors of Hestia. That's the goddess of hearth. Keep her appeased, and her blessing will tend to this realm. I found it here in the valley quite a while ago, discarded but not destroyed. I reckon Master Clement threw it off the cliff before departing. If he knew of the mirror's value, surely he intended to cause harm. He knew for a fact this trinket would hold quite the importance up there, if that in that hotel you have. You see, without this it will remain in the state of disrepair. Only these little bronze dishes can light its sacred hearth. Perhaps it is the master's desire to possess such things. Now, it would be my pleasure to be of use, such is my function, to serve the lord of the realm. I shall gladly consider offering it to you, if only master realizes a very simple request of mine. It is trivial, insignificant. I merely wish to have 2 minutes with the Minotaur, right here in the valley. Order him to come out and stay for 2 short minutes. I shall not lay a finger on him, I promise you. I merely wish to become reacquainted with the prisoner. Refuse the offer. I'm afraid I can't do that. Now why would that be? Has the Minotaur slandered my good name? How low of him. They say a coward's liver is pale. Consider one day I shall confirm it with my own eyes. Regardless, I would have master know that I am merely a pious follower of the old ways. There is no reason to doubt my character, assuming, that is, you hold dear to the words of the 12 Olympians. My duty is simple. I assist the master in fulfilling his God's given task and enacting the Minotaur's punishment. He was, after all, sentenced to eternal damnation. The lords of old were true heroes. They had the iron fist to do what the gods required. But then come the later lineage of weak-willed degenerates with sacrilegious ideas, offering mercy to the damned. Such childish silliness. The one Master Clement, I say he was a welcome return to form, but so uncreative, merely locking the prisoner in a room, scarcely compared to the might of the older times. Humans have grown awfully soft over the millennia. It's such a sorry sight. It pains me to think that the heritage of Theseus, Heracles, and Odysseus is wasted. Heroes of old had no hesitation. Heracles' aim was true. With an arrow coated in the Hydra's blood, he cleaved Gerion's skull, the monster of the Red Desert. Silver-tongued Odysseus, hero of Ithaca blinded the Cyclops' Polymerus with a stake and bathed his palate in blood. At last, but not least, Theseus beheaded the Minotaur with Crete's sacred labyrinth. Time and time again, Athena's heroes prevailed over Poseidon's bestial descendants. Good master, the triumph of civilization of mankind over chaos. To this day, we honor Athena's and mankind's triumph here in this glorious realm. The Minotaur was sentenced to damnation, you see, and torturing him is an act of divine worship. Perhaps it is difficult for you to comprehend, fresh as you are in the labyrinth. Suffice to say, this whole thing, the hotel, is a preservation of the Olympians' will. It was not Athena's wish to bring about mercy to the Minotaur, nor was it her intention that this prison realm be used for her leisure. You humans are frightful, gifted, and ingenuity. These weak-willed masters of centuries past corrupted the fine land into a den of degeneracy. All of it accomplished by abusing the laws of the realm. But two can play at this game, mind you. If humans will make contract to push us further from the gods, then I have proposal for the master, which will bring us closer. In fact, I have a contract for you right here. I can only hope you'll see soon enough that the Minotaur you protect is a coward, one who brought about the fall of his land and the end of his lineage. He deserves no mercy, master. Huh. I'm actually going to end the part here because I don't know how long this will go for, and I'm like half asleep. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I'll see you guys around. Bye.